Hey dudes, Joe Boy here. Got another theory for y'all. This one is going to be, I don't know if it has a lot of importance, but it's a theory I definitely believe is true that I haven't really heard anyone talking about. I do want to give a shout out to my friend Vandenreich, who apparently came up with this theory as well, different to how I did it, so credit goes to him. But in this theory, I want to talk about the symbol of the sun and the sign of the ancient kingdom. So I came up with this theory by observing something that was kind of just really strange, which is that if you look at Jolly Rogers in One Piece, they all for the most part look exactly the same, right? You have a skull and crossbones, the amount of bones could change, what the skull is actually wearing could change, but it's a Jolly Roger, it's what it looks like. Except for there are 5 examples which do not fit the mold at all. One of those examples is that of the Roshio pirates and their Jolly Roger. I'm going to put that on screen now. I'm going to show it to you and I'm going to say, what the hell is this? And then we're going to move on from it, because this is the weirdest Jolly Roger I've ever seen. I don't really have any thoughts on it. But the other 4 are really, really interesting, and they actually relate to each other. Even though that they're all different from the other flags, it's all sort of a similar style, which is that all 4 flags in some way represent the sun, and then you have 2 flags which seem to support this, and 2 flags which seem to be against it. And these 4 flags that I'm talking about, and we're going to put them in pairs, are the Doflamingo and Trafalgar Law flags, and then on the flip side we have the Fishman Pirates, the Sun Pirates, and then we have the new Fishman Pirates, which was led by Hody Jones. So let's start first with the Sun Pirates and the new Fishman Pirates, okay? These flags are pretty much exactly the same. The difference that we have is obviously the new Fishman Pirates do not support this sun, and they also have a little person in the middle of their Jolly Roger who is beheaded. The beheaded person makes a lot of sense because the new Fishman Pirates did not like humans, so we're just going to ignore that. That makes complete sense. But let's look at this symbol of the sun. I think this is really interesting. So it appears as though the new Fishman Pirates are against this, whatever the sun represents, while the Sun Pirates support it. And what's also really interesting about this is that the symbol of the sun doesn't just appear on Jolly Rogers, it also appears as a very common tattoo. So but before we get into that, let's look at the Doflamingo and the Trafalgar Law Jolly Rogers. Here again, Doflamingo's and Tra's Jolly Roger represents the sun. It's a very simple sun in the case of Doflamingo, but it is literally the same symbol. It's just a very simplified version of the sun. The difference between these 2 Jolly Rogers and other Jolly Rogers is it includes a smiley face within the Jolly Roger, and then again Doflamingo chooses to not support whatever the symbol is, while Law decides to support it. So if you've been keeping track now, then we have Doflamingo and the new Fishman Pirates led by Hody Jones together are against this, while the Sun Pirates and Law are for this symbol. So I think from our perspective, as fans of the Straw Hats, we would probably also be in favor of whatever the sun represents. The people who use the sun as their symbol are the good guys. So with this sort of in mind, for a long time now, I've been sort of keeping an eye out for the symbol of the sun and where it appears. Because where it appears is actually really interesting, I believe. And so I'm just going to give you some examples here. So the symbol of the sun is a common symbol. We see that the fishmen, the good fishmen support it, not Hody. We see that Law supports it. We also see that symbol in Shandora on Wiper. He has a tattoo of a sun on his arm. We also see that one of the other Shandorians, I forgot his name, but he has on his jacket 2 suns on each arm as well. We go to other fishmen. Tom has a tattoo of a sort of sunflower combination on both of his shoulders. That's really interesting. The Pirate Empress Boa Hancock also wore this outfit with a bunch of sun-looking things during the Marineford arc. We also have that Alabasta's symbol for the flag of Alabasta is actually a lot reminiscent of the flag of the Kozuki, which both resemble a sun. but in different ways. The Alabasta flag represents the sun, or looks very similar to the sun that's within the flag. And then the Kozuki flag itself actually looks a lot like a Jolly Roger, which is really, really interesting. But it is also representative of a sun. And the last example I have here is King Neptune. On both of his shoulders is, again, another sun-like symbol. So, we have all these suns, they're everywhere. And what I find to be the absolute most interesting thing about this entire thing is that every single one of these people, I believe, are tied directly to the ancient kingdom. The one thing that can be argued is that some people might say that Alabasta Kingdom is definitely not allied with the Ancient Kingdom. However, I believe in the theory that Alabasta has, for at least at the end of the Void Century, if not sooner than that, betrayed the other 20 kings and joined the side of the Ancient Kingdom, but secretly. So it wasn't obvious that they had switched sides, so when the Ancient Kingdom lost, Alabasta wasn't destroyed or attacked or named as part of the Ancient Kingdom alliance. But you'll know that Alabasta, the king of Alabasta during the Void Century, he never went to go to Marijoa. They just seem like good people, which is very unlike any of the other celestial dragons. They have a poneglyph, which the only people protecting poneglyphs outside of Alabasta right now are people associated with the Ancient Kingdom directly, like it's fact that these people are allied with the Ancient Kingdom. And then also it's supposedly true that Pluton is located on Alabasta. And I find it hard to believe that the Ancient Kingdom would have left one of their most prized, most dangerous ancient weapons in enemy territory. That just does make a lot of sense to me. So, if we assume that Alabasta is also an ally to an ancient kingdom, we have the Kozuki, who actually created the poneglyphs. We have the Shandorians, who are protecting a poneglyph. We have the Fishmen, who provided the ancient weapon Poseidon and also are protecting a poneglyph. We have Tom, who is protecting the blueprints to the counter Pluton. We have the D family, represented by Trafalgar D. Waterlaw, who, if you'll know, the D family is highly associated with the Ancient Kingdom. I may do a theory. Well, it's not really a theory anymore. It's almost fact. But I might do a post that explains all the reasons why people think that the Ds are the Ancient Kingdom. But regardless, the association is there. Just trust me on that one. And Trafalgar D. Law sports this sign, as well as the Sun Pirates. And the only one in this entire group that isn't directly associated with the Ancient Kingdom is the Kuja clan, Boa Hancock. They're not necessarily proven or in any way tied with the Ancient Kingdom at this point that I'm aware of, but it definitely wouldn't be surprising if they were. And there is not a single example that I can find of the symbol of the sun being representative of anyone who is clearly a product of the world government or celestial dragon. As well as the Marines. None of those people have the symbol of the sun, as well as a lot of the characters that we'd consider bad in this show. They don't have the symbol of the sun. My research is incomplete, though. This is a ginormous task, really, to go find all these hidden symbols, because a lot of them are hidden. And so I found this through almost now probably like 6 months of just like, oh wow, there's one, and I forgot some on the way, etc., etc. But this is something that you can do. You can find more information. You can probably find other suns that I haven't found. But the point being here is I haven't found any associated with world government, Marines, bad characters. They're all associated with the Ancient Kingdom except for the Kuja clan, which very well could be. And so I think we found the symbol of the Ancient Kingdom, to be honest with you. Or at the very least, a symbol that was from the Void Century that was supported by the Ancient Kingdom. It's like the allied Ancient Kingdom symbol or something along those lines. And so, you know, I've done a theory that's, I've done a couple theories about this, but racism is a huge theme in One Piece. It also seems to be one of the ideals, if not the biggest ideal, that the Ancient Kingdom stood for, that was in opposition of the 20 kings who eventually became the world government. As well as, I've done another theory where I discussed how the fishmen need to move to a new home. They need to live up with the humans. The minks will eventually be doing that as well. The dwarves have already done that. The people of Shandora have gone and they're living with the people of Angel Island now. The whole world is sort of coming together. in one piece, if I might be so bold. But so the world is coming together. People need to start realizing that everyone in this world are people. They're not really that different, even if their appearances or culture is different. And so I'm wondering if this sun is sort of representative of, specifically in the fishman's case, going and living under the sun with everyone else. And this would explain why the new fishermen pirates, why they crossed the sun out. They had no intentions of living with the humans under one sun. They wanted to kill all the humans, so they crossed that symbol out. And then we have Doflamingo, who is a celestial dragon. He crossed this symbol out as well because the celestial dragons want to persecute these people. They don't want this sort of thing going on. Whether or not Doflamingo actually knows what this symbol means or not, I'm not sure. But I think it's very ominous that him being a celestial dragon, he crossed it out as well. My last little sort of prediction here is about the smiley face that's on Doflamingo and Law's Jolly Roger. I really think, and there's not a lot to back this up, but I think that this symbolizes the family D. And I say this because you're looking at a skull, right? It's supposed to represent a skull. However, it's smiling and it's dead. It's smiling before it died. Family of D. I think that that's really likely. I also think that it could potentially represent Joy Boy in some way. Knowing the name Joy Boy kind of gives you the impression of someone who is smiling. So Joy Boy, smiling, family of D. And this would fully explain why Doflamingo would be against it while Law would be for it. Doflamingo, being a celestial dragon, is obviously against the family D. But yeah, that's my theory. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you found any other examples or any examples maybe that disprove my theory. As always, leave a like if you like it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And as always, have a wonderful day.